Some of you are like looking to get into 3D printing or additive manufacturing. It's probably a good idea to start doing that. I don't even know if this is a good commentary. Sound kind of like a dick. Anyways, right. In this video, I'm going to talk about getting into 3D printing. If you're, independently loaded and wealthy, maybe you can afford a Bambu Labs or something that does printing, easily. It could come out of the box and just be ready to go, and you don't have to mess with it. That's fine. You can be that person. Some people have moved on from this to a Bambu Labs, and that's even better. So if you are interested in this, which itself is kind of like a little hobby, just printing stuff, there's like some fundamental things that when you get started are I suppose maybe it was difficult for me to figure out what was going on in the beginning, because there's not a lot of people like just explaining it. You can watch a lot of Linus Tech Tips and Teaching Tech. I don't even think it's Linus. These guys that do like Chep Guy, and they'll have advice for you on. You have to watch a lot of those videos. I'm not saying you shouldn't watch the videos, but some basic fundamentals that will help you get over simple hurdles that I think aren't really compiled into one video, right? Let's say you just get your printer out of the box. I'm going to refer to the Ender 3. The Ender 3 is the starter printer of starter printers. It's this printer. And I still mess with I have an Ender 3 Pro right next to me here. Right there. But I still am mainly messing with this printer all the time. This printer can print excellent results. And with very little, because it is basic. It is fundamentally just a printer. It doesn't get complicated. If you are interested in being a master of printing, this is the printer you get, because you can move on to the Prusas and all those stuff. That'll just help you to understand those machines and make them print as best as they can. But this machine prints very well. Very, very well. As you can see, I have. So, basically, fundamentals. In the beginning, you want to get your bed level. Take this thing. If they still come with these, just take this and get rid of it. You see this is brand new. Just take it and get rid of it. It's pointless. Now you get your glass bed. Glass bed was like $30. Whatever. That's the one upgrade I did. I made this upgrade. And then I bought the metal extruder, they call that. Right? Extruder gear. Because the plastic one tends to get worn out. It's not bad. It just gets worn if you use it a lot. And so you want to get your bed level, and you want to get the point from your print nozzle to the bed. There's no other word other than precise. It has to be precise. And when you get your glass bed, this has to be around 0.2. You just want to get it generally with the piece of paper. That's what they tell you to do. Get the paper under there. Do that. Now, the best way to see what's going on with your leveling, this is basically all you got to do. Cura, if you use Cura, it's very good with this printer. You don't have to change many settings, but as you get into knowing what you're doing, you can go and kind of mess around with the print settings. But when you start, a good way to see what you're doing is to have, if your bed is this color, have a lighter color like yellow, something you can see really easily. Because if I'm going to zoom in here. Now around the, of course you're going to do that. Around the edges of this, when I started, I just tune on the go. So I've been running this for a little while, and when you run your printer a little while, these guides in here in your nylons they're gonna start sagging. So you have to compensate for that and tighten these up. You have to make sure make sure your printer is in good working order. It's just like anything else. Parts are gonna wear, they're going to change shape because these little rollers here on top, you can't really see what I'm talking about. On top of here, they're all over. So they get like grooved in them. You have to make sure they're not grooved. And you have to make sure they're snug against the channels. And that's how you're going to get the best tolerances on your prints. But when you get your bed going, the best way to do it is to print something that has a big, large, flat surface area. You can focus on like one side if you just want to put your parts on one side. It's a good way to do it. But the whole bed generally has to be level in order to get a nice looking piece. To have a contrasting color between here and here is very easy to see the edges. So maybe you'll get things that look like this. You know, it's just strings coming off the print bed. Right, this is looking like that. See, here's what I was printing. It's the same thing down there. So I was getting, where is this? You know, it's getting lines. But you could see them. That's the printer nozzle is too high off the bed. See, it looks like guitar or horse hairs I'm just pulling across. That's too high. That's the nozzle is not, it's just kind of laying a rope on top of the plate. You want it to be squishing it down so that it turns into, like you can see here. See, I was starting to get it a little better. Maybe you can see. Maybe not. Supposed to focus in the background. But see the lines, this is one edge of the print bed, so the lines were coming together better. As I was turning the bed screws down here, you really kind of have to know what you're doing because it's upside down. And then the down and the up, I get confused. So I have to literally act like I'm laying under the thing and then do this so that I understand what you know, because if you'll turn them the wrong way, you get it all screwed up. But you want to do something flat so you can look at your bead going down on the bed. And if you see it going like it'll start to feather on the sides and make little like squeezing out areas, that's where it's too tight against the bed. And another thing you'll notice when it's too tight against the bed is your extruder will start clicking because it's trying to push material against something where there's no room for it to come out. It's just going against the bed and it's not able to squeeze out and flatten out like this, you know, the continuous stripe. It's just jammed into the nozzle, so you're going to get clicking here. So if you're getting clicking, just start turning the bed. You want to turn each little knob the same amount on each one if you have it leveled in the four corners. And you have to pay attention, and I turn it just tiny bits. I turn it maybe, if you see I have these clips on here, and then they have the notches in the clips, or in the knob, I will turn it one of those notches on each one each time until the bed drops down enough to where it will stop clicking, and then I will watch how the line looks. If it's still pushing out the sides, I'll just keep turning it just slightly. And even within this part, I was able to do it. I had to throw away because it almost finished printing on. But it has to be a big, long, flat piece. And you want to see, like, I'll show you this. The lines where my print is going down, like it's not protruding out the edges anywhere. It's perfectly straight. It's not pointy or wiry like this. If you print in 0.2, you'll see less of this, because by like layer 2 or 3, it's going to cover your mistakes. You always want to start your print, no matter what layer height you're doing, at a 0.2. So your initial layer has to be 0.2. Anything less than that is pointless. It just causes problems. It's very hard to tune something at a lower layer height than 0.2. But if you move up, your next layer can be 0.16, and you should be able, this is a 0.16 layer. So the lower your layer height is, the harder it is to, like, the thinner your layer height is, the harder it is to get it perfectly flat on a long thing without actually looking at what you're doing. So you can get very, 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 very good prints with this printer. I will show you a very good print. So this is just, just phenomenal print. This is with this machine. I mean, just outstanding. This is 0.16 layer height. Very, very nice. Very nice piece. So, you don't need to be intimidated, and you don't need to buy the best machine to get good results. And I encourage people to start doing this, because you're just not going to get things. You're not going to be able to get things that you want. Like, this is the ultimate prepper tool. And you better start learning how to use one, because you're not going to be able to get the things that you need. You're going to have to figure out how to design them, or reverse engineer things that you need. And this is a good way to do it in-house. Now, the parts don't last as long as metal parts, but it's definitely comparable technology. And these codes you can run on a CNC, so if you know how to do this, you can make parts on a CNC. It's just it's the opposite of adding, taking away. And you're limited to certain things on a CNC. You can't do what these can do. So have a nice day, everybody. Hope you get into 3D printing, because it's the future. Sorry to say it, you're never going to get anything any other way. But yeah, first layer, very important. Getting your, what is going on here? Having some problems. Bye, everyone.